All right, all the sound checks are good to go. We're going to go get started here in just a few seconds. All right, looks like everything's good to go. We're going to go ahead and get started here. Thanks for joining. My name is Kevin Gilmore with the National Weather Service New Orleans Baton Rouge office located in Slidell, Louisiana. We're going to be doing a quick update now on Hurricane Ida, some of the latest impacts expected across the area. And we're going to kind of go over a lot of details here on this specific Facebook Live discussing what type of impacts we can be expecting coming up here starting tomorrow, it looks like. We're trying to really message a lot to people that today's the day to really get your preparedness done. We're going to show you why, because we got quite the serious situation when it comes to a very significant hurricane possible here in the very shortly, possibly even becoming a major hurricane later today, if not early tomorrow. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into it here and show you what we got going with how the storm is looking visually right now using GOES 16 satellite imagery. So if you can see this, this is a satellite image loop from the GOES 16 geostationary satellite centered over the Gulf of Mexico. And it's very obvious to point out that obvious counterclockwise circulation you see in the middle there. That's Ida, and is really starting to show very good indications of strengthening. Um, the storm is, again, very symmetric. It's got kind of a very good outflow to it, and even a little bit of an eye is starting to form now. So that's a good indication to us that the storm is strengthening. You see a little bit of a haze right in the middle. That's what we're talking about. That's what we're starting to notice, that the storm is starting to strengthen. It came off of Cuba. Cuba is located about right here. So it came off as it tracked across the Isle of Youth, came over to southeast parts of the Gulf of Mexico, and it's now continuing to track off to the northwest as expected. The whole thing here is there's not going to be any types of changes here. We're not expecting any major changes in the forecast. The storm will continue off towards the northwest, making a direct impact into southeastern Louisiana. We are really concerned about our area where we cover in southeast Louisiana and southern Mississippi, where there could be some very significant impacts. So as you see, this is the whole system right here, kind of a very classic looking imagery that we're looking at, a visible satellite. And if we switch, just one quick moment, if we're going to switch to infrared, let's see if we can switch to that one. It may take a quick moment. There you go, switching to infrared satellite. We can see that we're seeing a lot of convection bubbling around the center of the now what's formed kind of a ragged eye. Again, we're going to see this probably fill up around. The convection is going to look a lot better and start wrapping around the eye. And we could have a very symmetric looking hurricane as the storm continues to strengthen off to the northwest. And again, we remain to be very concerned about this situation. We're going to see conditions going downhill across southeast Louisiana starting late tonight to early tomorrow. So we're showing the satellite imagery to show that the storm is there. This is no longer a possibility from when we were watching the storm develop from computer model guidance back down in the Western Caribbean or the Central Caribbean in the early days. This is now a real hurricane, and computer models are in very good agreement that this storm will continue off towards the northwest and strengthen. So this is going to happen. This is no longer a possibility. We're now looking at the reality of a major hurricane impacting portions of southeast Louisiana. So let's go ahead and jump back here and talk about what we got. But first, I want to actually bring this up, and I used to show this in Facebook Lives before. If you've watched me do Facebook Lives during severe weather events, when I've done these in the past few years, I've always talked about how important it is to know where you live on a map. This is the area that we cover of southeast Louisiana and southern Mississippi. Now, I know we have a lot of friends from other areas across the southeast United States or possibly across the country or the world who are watching right now. But we want to make this very clear that for our office, which is the National Weather Service New Orleans Baton Rouge office, where we cover is southeast Louisiana and southern Mississippi, or southwestern Mississippi and coastal Mississippi. So that includes major cities like Baton Rouge and New Orleans, going across to Pascagoula, Gulfport, Biloxi. We include Macomb, Houma, all surrounding cities, Hammond. All of y'all are the area that we specifically cover. So the importance of why I'm showing you this is that I'm going to be showing you here coming up shortly a lot of graphics. And I don't have the time on this update to call out every single information, every single city that someone's going to be wanting to know? What's going to be the impacts today up in Independence? What about Slidell? What about Pearl River? I can't sit here and tell you the forecast for every single location. Your job for me is to find your location on the map and determine the risk that you are in. So know the county, know the parish that you live in, and sometimes even I've said during severe weather events, know the county or parish that surrounds you. That also helps you have good situational awareness if a storm is coming to impact your area. So be thinking about that. Keep this in the back of your mind. Be geographically savvy here. As I go through the next few maps, I want you to know which cities around you, what county or parish, and what county and parish is around you as I go through this. So that will help you determine what to expect when it comes to significant hazards here coming up with Hurricane Ida. So, as I just mentioned, that is our office there in Southeast Louisiana. We are one of 122 National Weather Service offices across the United States that serve the public and partners alike. So we have offices as well to our west, Lake Charles, Louisiana, to our north, Jackson, Mississippi, and to our east, National Weather Service Mobile. So if you're watching from those offices and you're interested about local weather pertaining to those areas, please follow them on Facebook and Twitter where you can see there at MWS Mobile, Jackson MS, and Lake Charles. So they have impacts possible as well from this system, if not likely from the system. It'll be a little bit different from the impacts that we'll see, but still, impacts are going to be very likely across the entire area that you see here. So if you're interested in weather that's surrounding our office, be sure to follow these offices on Facebook and Twitter, and check out their main website, weather.gov, and that'll also point you to these locations as well. So now let's go ahead and jump right into it with the latest of Hurricane Ida from the National Hurricane Center as of 1 p.m. Central Daylight Time. This is the latest update we have from the National Hurricane Center, showing maximum sustained winds of, already up to 100 miles per hour. So rapid strengthening is already occurring. And as expected, the storm will become a major hurricane shortly, later today, at the latest tonight or possibly early tomorrow, and has its sights set on Southeast Louisiana. I cannot stress enough how significant of a situation this is. There's hurricane warnings in effect. We are expecting the potential or the likelihood of significant life-threatening impacts. Where you see there in the red text on the right, we're not saying possible, we're saying will occur, because we want people to take this extremely seriously. We're talking about 4 threats that people need to be concerned about here. This is going to be widespread wind damage. That's going to be power outages and potential damage to structures. We're talking about life-threatening storm surge for coastal areas, and even a little bit further away from coastal areas, we could see significant inundation. Excessive rainfall, we're talking about widespread flash flooding conditions, and even isolated tornadoes. Those 4 are going to be the most significant hazards that we're going to have to focus on the most here, and we're going to be talking a lot about that coming up here in just a quick moment. So again, there's the latest on Ida and what we're going to be expecting here locally. No major changes to the track at all. In fact, pretty much no track change is what I'm seeing here. But the intensity is increasing, making this a more increasing serious situation. So let's go ahead and start with the hurricane and tropical storm warnings that are in effect for our area. Pretty much all of Southeast Louisiana is under a hurricane warning. That means it's coming. Now, for Southwest Mississippi and Southern Mississippi, or Southern and Coastal Mississippi, you're under tropical storm warning, as the storm for Coastal Mississippi will be a little bit further to your west, and where you'll see the potential for sustained tropical storm force winds. And as the storm continues further north, passing Baton Rouge, the storm will weaken some and will likely be downgraded to a tropical storm by the time it impacts areas like Macomb, Woodville, other areas across southwestern Mississippi. So, but if you're in Southeast Louisiana or even Southern Louisiana, Lafayette, Baton Rouge, Covington, Slidell, Hammond, I can't name every single one of them, but that's why I said before, it's important for you to know the city and parish and county that you live in. You'll be able to determine right now if you're under hurricane warning or a tropical storm warning. You're going to be under one of the two if you're watching that's in our area. And the big threat here is going to be that sustained, strong, damaging winds. Now, talking about the difference between a watch and a warning, I'll go over this real quick. We were under a watch, but now we're under a warning because it's now within that 36-hour time frame. And now we're talking less than 12 hours possible for some areas. So we're getting closer to that starting hour for everything to begin here. That's why we're under hurricane warning, and there are no longer any more watches here. So again, talking more, the first point we're going to begin is going to be the damaging wind, because that is a very serious, significant risk. Now, the scale you see on the left is color-coded from yellow to orange to red to purple. There's different threats for these colors as they go up in different colors. The lower threat, but it's still notable, is the yellow colors of 39 to 57 miles per hour. That's around a weak to a moderate tropical storm strength wind speeds we're expecting. That's Gulfport and Pascagoula. You could still see some locally higher gusts, but around that range. So Gulfport, Pascagoula, Biloxi, we're saying 39 to 57 mile per hour wind gust potential. It gets higher as it increases as you go towards the west, which makes sense as you're getting closer to where the storm is forecast to make landfall. Now we're talking about Bay St. Louis, Slidell, Pearl River, Poplarville, Macomb, Bush, all these areas that I just talked about, Franklinton. You're going to be in that area where you're going to expect the potential for strong tropical storm force winds. We're talking about now up to 73 miles per hour potential, but you could have hurricane force wind gusts in any localized heavier rain band. So as you get past those colors and get to the reds, we're talking now hurricane force winds at greater than 74 miles per hour in the red color. That's where we're going to say that's where the likelihood of power outages really goes up fast. Those are cities, Hammond, Centerville, getting down to very close to New Orleans and down close to Boothville. That very thin corridor, it goes up very fast. And then you get to the purple areas. And that is where we're expecting the potential, or excuse me, the likelihood of damaging widespread winds across the area. This is going to lead to structural damage, widespread power outages, trees down. It's going to be widespread trees down all over the place. That's going to make traveling inaccessible. That includes Baton Rouge, Jackson. That's getting all the way all across Iberville Parish, Point Coupee, West and East Feliciana, getting down to Assumption, Ascension, St. James, St. Charles, St. John, Lafourche, Terrebonne Parish. I may be missing a few others there. And this does, and I see that New Orleans is on the line there. It doesn't matter. Do not pay attention to that fine line. If you're on that fine line, expect the worst. So that's a large portion of our area is going to be expecting widespread significant wind damage. If you're pretty much anywhere in our area, I say expect you to be without power. By this point, hopefully you're already prepared. If not, you're preparing right now. You need to be prepared for this. If you're not prepared right now, you need to be right now. You need to expect long duration power outages, especially the areas that you see in red and purple. Very long duration power outages. This could be a very large impact to modern infrastructure for some of these areas, especially down the Houma and Pierre Park, and even towards Thibodaux, Lafayette. This is going to make some places inaccessible for an extended period of time. If you're choosing to stay, you're putting your life at risk and those coming to rescue your lives at risk. And in this case, if you're under mandatory evacuation, you need to be out. There's no question about it. Don't even ask a question. Mandatory, get out. If you're voluntary, make the right decision based out of the guidance that I'm showing you here. But hopefully you'll make the right decision. But if you're in mandatory, I'm telling you right now, get out. Especially if you're down towards Houma and down towards, of course, Grand Isle. You're all in mandatory evacuation. You should have been out. Thibodaux, out of here. Anywhere near Houma, again, Pierre Park. You should not be anywhere near the storm. Do not mess around with this one. You don't want to put your life in danger. I'm telling you, even Baton Rouge, this is not going to be a good situation. This is going to be long duration power outages. If you live in a house or an apartment or anywhere, a mobile home that has trees near it, and you have some either softwood pine or any type of tree nearby, we're talking about widespread tree damage. This is going to take out a lot of things. This is going to take out power lines. This is not like a tornado where it's a single track, where you see the mile per hour there. That's 110 miles per hour across Baton Rouge. Okay, that's the potential for 110 mile per hour winds. That is that's like a tornado. Think about it like a tornado in a way. So a tornado is a singleized point, but when you've seen tornado damage before, when it hits that singleized point, it's devastating. You see mobile homes damage. That's why I want you to take this extremely seriously. If you're in that purple area, have that plan right now. If not this afternoon, right now. Hurry up and do it. We'll get through this storm. I don't mean to sound too dramatic here, but I kind of have to there to kind of make my voice really relay to people the seriousness of the situation. So we're going to go ahead here now where I'm talking about preparations to be completed today, because from the National Hurricane Center, the earliest reasonable time of arrival for tropical storm force winds are going to be increasing across the area. If it's hard to see this graphic, I apologize about that, but we're going to be seeing late Saturday night to early Sunday morning is going to be when the winds start to creep up across coastal areas of southeast Louisiana, continuing to increase across the South Shore, home to New Orleans. That's going to be after midnight Sunday into daybreak Sunday morning. So what you'll start to notice when you wake up Sunday is it's going to be breezy. It's going to get even gusty outside. Trees are going to be swaying, and we may have some tropical rain bands, outer bands from the system already coming up from the south. And the number 3 there, that's after daybreak Sunday morning through Sunday afternoon. This is the earliest onset of the tropical storm force wind potential. So by this time frame, we're talking about Sunday morning and the Sunday afternoon, especially by Sunday afternoon is where we're going to see these the winds steadily increase. Now, with these rain bands coming up from the south, we could see some locally higher gusts ahead of time. And we have to watch, too, as the storm's approaching. We may have some storms rotating, especially near the coast. We may be putting out special marine warnings for water spouts and maybe even some tornado warnings as well. So keep that in the back of your mind. Now we're going to jump into storm surge, because this is a very significant risk. You see the values there. If you live anywhere near the coast and you're in a vulnerable area to even typical storm surge or typical higher than normal tides, hopefully, if you're listening to me, if you live in a location that you get flooding from higher than normal tides, hopefully, if you're listening to me right now, you are no longer there. We don't want you to be anywhere near the coast in this situation. Mandatory evacuations are all over the place. I know one's for Terrebonne Parish, surrounding parishes as well, all under mandatory evacuations. You don't need to be near the coast. Don't even think about it. As you go up towards Lake Pontchartrain, we're calling 4 to 7 feet, 3 to 5 feet Lake Maurepas, and then it still stays high across coastal Mississippi. You got to think about, as the storm approaches, we're talking about a counterclockwise circulation, a counterclockwise motion with it. So that's a strong south to north fetch of waves that's going to be battering, crashing waves that can be just as damaging as high winds, are going to be approaching towards the coast, impacting Lake Bourne, coastal Hancock, Jackson, and even coastal Jackson and Harrison and Hancock counties. Even coastal Jackson County, you're saying 4 to 7 feet. Those are still significant impacts. Even for our friends over in Mobile, to Mobile Bay and Dauphin Island, we're talking about significant impacts there, 2 to 4 feet. That's still going to be high surf. So that's going to be a major impact there as well, where there's high surf advisories in effect across the area. So even for our friends back to the east, Lake Charles, Vermilion Bay, 6 to 9 feet. It does go down as you get to Lake Charles, all the way to Sabine Pass at the Texas-Louisiana border. That's 2 to 4 feet over there. But as you can see where the storm's got its bullseye, where the worst impacts, it's going to be from Morgan City all the way to Ocean Springs, Mississippi, and all throughout Lake Bourne, Lake Pontchartrain, and Lake Maurepas. So please take this extremely seriously. Now we're taking what I just showed you and we're showing it more in that same graphical format I showed you before about that damaging wind potential. These are the same color fields. So as you see, there's a lot of purple there. I was very, very extreme with my wording when I was talking about the high winds, and I'm going to be the same with surge, especially in the areas you see purple, even in red, and that includes all around Lake Pontchartrain. And as the storm comes north, all of that winds and the waves and higher seas funnel in towards Lake Bourne and the Mississippi Sound and comes through the Wrigley's, floods that area, and comes into Lake Pontchartrain and gets higher and higher, and we see inundation that continues west into Lake Maurepas, and that's where it hits areas of lower areas around Ponchatoula, down towards Livingston Parish, areas that we typically see higher than normal tides from, or if we have like some type of coastal flooding situation from strong east to west winds. Sometimes we see flooding in around that area. In this case, you will be flooded. There's no question about it. There's the same forecast inundation values I was saying before. The words here are devastating to catastrophic, life-threatening storm surge in purple. Still extensive, very serious storm surge in orange and red. And those are the only colors we have, and that's all I'm going to talk about there. Storm surge warnings, they're in effect because of exactly what I just talked about. Same inundation issues, expect road closures, widespread inundation, and I was already talking about the battering waves. So take the storm extremely seriously when it comes to storm surge. The third threat here, forecast flood with flash flooding risk with Ida. Again, we got the same colors here. We're maxed off the scale. Potential for extreme flooding rain for a good section of southeast Louisiana, New Orleans, Houma, Baton Rouge, Hammond, Pierre Park, Gonzales, all these areas, even Covington. What's going to happen is when the storm comes up towards the coast, areas near the eye wall and just to the right, we're going to have bands of south and north oriented heavy rain showers with extreme winds that are going to probably not be moving much. And if these bands are not moving much, I think natives from southeast Louisiana are very much aware when rain doesn't move and it's heavy, we get flooding. If it stays there, we get extreme flooding, and it happens very fast. But this risk extends all the way to coastal Mississippi, Bay St. Louis, Biloxi, Gulfport, Centerville, up to Macomb. You're all included in this risk as well. Again, know your county, know your parish. If you're in any of these reds or purples, take this extremely seriously. Because of that, a flash flood watch is in effect. For the potential, what we're talking about for an average range, I'm going to go ahead and jump to the next slide of what we're talking about for the rainfall potential. If you're looking for an exact value, or at least a range of values, we're talking about 6 to 8 up to Macomb to 8 to 10. But generally speaking, I really don't want people to pay too much attention to these ranges. I know they're on the map. What we're trying to say here is on an average, we're expecting 8 to 16 inches of rainfall with likely locally higher amounts. It depends on where these bands set up. For now, when the center of the storm is forecast to make landfall for where it's going, those bands will be near the eye wall or in the eye wall into the east, which includes a kind of a corridor from Houma north, almost following I-55, including Hammond and Livingston. So keep that in mind. This could move a little bit. These bands could propagate outwards from the center out towards the east and become stationary sometimes and produce damaging winds, flash flooding, and isolated tornadoes as well. It just depends on where this sets up. This is just showing you the highest likelihood of seeing this heavy rainfall from Houma up to Baton Rouge. So flooding rain is a very serious situation here. And tornadoes. Now, we just mentioned that about these bands that are being kind of going around the area. As the forecast will stay on track, we will be seeing these bands rotating around the outside of the storm, rotating around the center, and they will become stationary. We will have what's called embedded cells inside of these bands, and they will be rotating. Because within a storm like this that's spinning so tightly, you get actually, believe it or not, a lot of wind shear, or what we call low-level wind shear. And with it being so moist and unstable out, we get that, believe it or not, we get a tornado risk. Now, this is not the same type of tornado risk we see with passing cold fronts and squall lines and very large supercells like we get sometimes in the winter, the spring months, and sometimes fall months. These are going to be smaller, shallow cells. When I say shallow, I mean shallower in the atmosphere. Sometimes they won't even have any thunder with them, so these hardly will be any thunderstorms. And these could produce very fast-moving, weak waterspouts on the water that can come on shore as a weak tornado. Now, where these tornadoes hit could be devastating for that local area. We want to keep that in the back of your mind. We're not expecting a widespread tornado outbreak, but there could be a swath of small, weak tornadoes that if you're under a tornado warning and you get the tornado, it could damage your home. For example, if you're over in Gulfport and you're expecting tropical storm force winds, yet you get a tornado warning and a tornado hits your location, it could be just as devastating as the extreme winds farther to the west. You could see winds of 100 to 110 plus miles per hour out of some of these stronger tornadoes that are coming across the area. Now, I want to mention another thing there on the very bottom part of the impacts and safety is make sure you have a reliable way to receive warnings should they become required. What I want to really add to that is that due to the fact that there's going to be widespread power outages, you need to make sure that if your reliable way of getting warnings is a weather radio, make sure you have fresh batteries. If your reliable way of receiving warnings is wireless emergency alerts or anything on your phone, if you follow Twitter and Facebook, or you follow your favorite weather app, or follow whatever on your phone to get weather warnings, make sure you have a portable charger for your phone, or just make sure your phone is charged. Charge your phone overnight tonight. 100% sure. Charge your phone overnight tonight so that you'll have a charged phone throughout the day. And if you're under a tornado warning, we do this for a reason. It's to save lives. I can't emphasize that enough. Take these tornado warnings seriously. Unfortunately, there may be a lot of them. And if you get that tornado warning, go to your safe place. Again, just make sure you have that reliable source of weather information. Now, we're talking about getting a plan This is what we're talking about here. This is what you should have in your kit already by now. That's a flashlight, extra batteries. I was just talking about a cell phone charger. If you have some type of portable cell phone charger, cash, things like that. Hopefully, you have some good supply of food. This is what you need to have at hand. Just expect a long duration power outage here for days. Now, if you happen to have a kit from last year when unfortunately, we got inundated with all different types of storms. We were in the cone at least many, many, many times. Too many times to remember. It was just a blur for some of our meteorologists here. Make sure you refresh your kit. Batteries can go old. Some food can go old. Just go through it and make sure. Don't wait until the power is out for you to go through and find your kit, dig through it, and go, man, my flashlight's dead. And then you're stuck. Have candles. Anything like that, and you'll be good. Plan for your pets. Hopefully, you've already realized this. If you've already evacuated and you already found a good place for your pet, bring your furry friend along or make sure they're in a shelter. Think of this now. If you're on the fence about leaving, remember that not all shelters accept pets. Think of that ahead. Make sure the shelter that you want to go to accepts pets. So also not pictured here too is I want to go back is I want to also, for those who have family and friends and relatives that live across anywhere in the areas that I was talking about, elderly, call up on them. Make sure they're doing okay. Make sure they're watching this. Any family and friends, if you don't live in Southeast Louisiana, but your family and friends do, just give them a quick call and say, are you going to be okay? Are you ready? Do you need anything? Remind them of the information that you just saw here if they're not watching right now. So especially, I'm talking about, again, the elderly, give them a call. People that are a little harder of hearing or harder getting information, give them the information that I just gave you. Pick up the phone and give them a call and just make sure they're aware of what's going on. So again, I'm going to jump back here to show you the satellite imagery one last time, showing you now 100 mile per hour winds sustain on the storm. So we're going to kind of show you again as I kind of circle out that we're starting to see a little bit of an eye forming. Now there's your storm right there, and you see that little bit of a speck right there. That's going to be the eye that's forming. Now we're going to see this circulation. We're going to see these bubble up of convection going around it as it wraps around with time. It's going to fill out, and the storm's going to become, you're going to see brighter colors as the storm continues off towards the northwest. And when it does, it's still going to impact parts of Southeast Louisiana. We got Southeast Louisiana right here. Nothing is stopping the storm from continuing to strengthen. Nothing is stopping the storm that's continuing from continuing towards the northwest. So that's why we want you to take the storm as seriously as possible. So that's all the information that we have as of 1 o'clock. We're going to be doing a lot more Facebook Lives. I'm likely going to do one other one in the next few hours for anyone who may have missed this. So be sure to join us there when you can. We'll give you then the latest information that we have it. By that time, we would have already, when I start I'm thinking about 4 o'clock. When I start the 4 o'clock, the 4 p.m. National Hurricane Center update's already going to be out. So we'll see a new update from the National Hurricane Center, and we'll go back over some of these threats again for that Facebook Live. So be sure to catch us then. If there's someone that you want them to watch this stream, spread the word. Tell them about how to follow us on Facebook and Twitter. If they don't have anything like this, just send them the link. We also are streaming live on YouTube as well. You can watch that. You don't have to have a Facebook account. So we're trying to be as flexible as we can to get the message out by hitting multiple platforms. And your goal, if you're watching this, if you live in the area, to take action. If you don't live in the area, but you know people who live here, pick up the phone and check on them. The key here is that we're talking about is preparedness and take action. Preparedness, that should already be going on right now. And take action should also be going on right now. Today's the day. Don't wait till tomorrow. I cannot stress that enough. This is going to be a life-threatening situation for parts of the area. So again, it's hard to be it's real hard to be this serious, but I'm trying to really push the message across here, how serious this really is. So take my tone very seriously about this, and we're doing this for a reason. We're doing this so the message gets out. That is our mission in the National Weather Service, the protection of lives and property. I underline the part about lives. We want to do this. So we get these hurricanes come. We've had them before in history. The sun will shine when it's gone. So let's just get through it and everything will be all right. So we're going to go ahead and end it there. And again, I promise to do another one later here this afternoon, and we'll meet you back for that next update. So thank you for attending. I appreciate your paying attention for all this, and like I said, we'll do another update soon. So thank you very much, and we'll talk with you later.
Southern Louisiana. Into Good afternoon, everybody. As you can see, I have a number of folks here with me this afternoon, and at the conclusion of my remarks, we'll take questions, and certainly they're going to be available to answer any questions you might want to direct to them or that require their knowledge. Unfortunately, there's not been a lot of change in the forecasted track or intensity of Hurricane Ida since our last press conference yesterday afternoon. So we're still looking at a very strong Category 4 hurricane making landfall, likely in Terrebonne Parish, tomorrow afternoon or evening. Now, the forecasted landfall is for 7 p.m. What I want to make sure people understand is that's the point at which the leading edge of the eye wall will cross from the Gulf onto land. At that point in time, about half of the storm is already over land. So don't listen to that and think you have until 7 o'clock tomorrow evening, but before the storm itself is going to be over land. That is not so. The wind speed at landfall is projected to be sustained in the neighborhood of 140 miles per hour. This is a very strong storm. Ben Schott of the National Weather Service is not here today. He is in New Orleans. He is working extremely hard, but I do have some of the most recent slides to put up and share with you. One of the things that you're going to see is just about the entire state is under some type of warning or watch. And so everybody out there needs to be very careful. I don't want folks who are further inland to be caught off guard because there's a potential for 110 mile per hour sustained winds as far north as the Louisiana-Mississippi line, but also from Lafayette through Baton Rouge to New Orleans and all points south, including the river parishes. And I would point out that 110 mile per hour wind, that is Category 2 strength winds. So that's a Cat 2 hurricane there. And so while the storm will weaken after it makes landfall, it is such a strong storm at the outset that it's going to be extremely powerful as far north as Baton Rouge and even further. We expect storm surge of 10 to 15 feet between Morgan City and the mouth of the Mississippi River, from 7 to 11 feet from the mouth of the river to Ocean Springs, Mississippi. And so if you just look at that geography, the storm surge will impact St. Mary Parish, Terrebonne Parish, Lafourche Parish, Jefferson Parish the most. But there will be impacts well away from that, and certainly Plaquemines Parish and St. Bernard will be challenged with storm surge as well. 8 to 16 inches of rain with locally higher amounts possible. And that higher amount could be 20 or more inches, and that's Sunday through Tuesday. And as a result, and by the way, there's a big confluence of all of these areas, but again, stretching from Lafayette through Baton Rouge over to New Orleans and points south, that's where they're expecting the heaviest rainfall. And you hate to make comparisons with other storms because every storm is different, but remember that last year with Laura, we had very strong winds extending through most of the state because of how strong it was and how large that storm was. Well, we're going to see something very similar with Hurricane Ida. With the rain amounts that I just mentioned, flash flooding is a very real concern, and this is a very large storm. One of the things the National Weather Service told us that from the center of the storm extending eastward, it could be up to 160 miles, and then another 120 or 130 miles over to the west. So you're looking at something that could be 300 miles long. River flooding is also possible, especially on the North Shore area. Now, we're catching a little bit of a break here because the rivers don't start off at flood stage, and we haven't had as much rainfall over the last couple of weeks as we had been experiencing earlier in the year. But it doesn't take many hours of rain that's falling at the rate that they're talking about before those rivers could be at flood stage. One of the things that we were told today by the National Weather Service during our Unified Command Group meeting is that they are extremely confident in the current track and the intensity as forecasted for Hurricane Ida. And you really don't hear them speaking very often about that level of confidence. So we can sum it up by saying this will be one of the strongest hurricanes to hit anywhere in Louisiana since at least the 1850s. We can also tell you that your window of time is closing. It is rapidly closing. And just like we said yesterday, by the time you go to bed tonight, you need to be where you intend to ride the storm out, and you need to be as prepared as you can be, because weather will start to deteriorate very quickly tomorrow. By 8 a.m., we expect tropical storm force winds to start to move into the inland across southern Louisiana. And while you've been preparing, so has the state, so has local government, and we have certainly had assistance from our federal partners. And I'll just give you some updates from state agencies at this time. I can tell you that the Department of Transportation has waived the hours of service for truckers responding to Hurricane Ida. I've been watching the traffic cameras across the interstate systems of Louisiana for much of the day. And part of the good news is that many people are heeding the evacuation orders, both mandatory and voluntary evacuation orders, and they are evacuating. This is causing some areas with high congestion. We just ask people to be patient. This is going to be part of the process. Everyone can do themselves a little favor by checking with 511la.org, or you can go to the 511LA app for traffic information. Find out if roads are closed, if detours are in effect, and if alternate routes are needed. At the present time, we have 137 coach buses in place in Louisiana, spread from Lafayette across east towards the New Orleans area and multiple vehicle staging areas. The vast majority of these resources will be focused on southeast Louisiana. We also have 19 paratransit buses, and they have already been assisting in the evacuation of a number of nursing homes. We will have another 38 more coaches on hand by Monday. It is important to note that debris on the roadway and high water can occur at any time during the storm because of the impact of the wind and flood waters. DOTD crews may not be able to get to these locations to erect signs and barricades and provide warning before motorists experience these things. So please be mindful of this. Don't drive unless you have to once the weather gets bad. When there's water on the road and you're not 100% certain you know exactly how deep it is and what the current is, do not drive through it. Turn around. Don't drown. You should treat every down power line as if it's live and deadly. I can tell you that the CPRA is tracking 692 gates across the coastal zone. As of this morning's briefing, 246 of those gates were closed. And that's up considerably from yesterday's report. For just the second time in the history of the Hurricane Risk Reduction System in New Orleans, we will fully activate that system tomorrow morning. Coastal parishes across southeast Louisiana have been working extremely hard to shore up certain areas in their protection systems. For example, Terrebonne Parish is performing super SAC operations to shore up low-lying areas in Lower Delarge. Lafourche Parish completed sandbag operations to shore up low areas on Reach K of its system in the Morganza to the Gulf levees. The National Guard currently has 4,013 National Guard soldiers and airmen activated in support of emergency operations. We will get to more than 5,000 guardsmen available to respond to the storm. And in fact, the entirety of the Louisiana National Guard has been activated, and coordination for possible assistance with sister states for assets that we may not have or may not have enough of them in Louisiana is ongoing. But just in terms of the National Guard, their search and rescue assets are staged currently across 14 parishes. They have 164 high water vehicles, 62 boats, and 34 helicopters ready to support and assist in search and rescue operations. 650 state, EMAC, and FEMA USAR personnel. Now, EMAC, that's when we request assistance from another state. FEMA is when we receive, obviously, search and rescue individuals directly from the federal government. We have a total of 650 of these that will be in place by tonight. And the number of boats there, just with the Louisiana Fire Marshal's Office, for example, is 150 that are staged across South Louisiana. We have the potential to get to 900 such search and rescue people by Monday if needed. The Louisiana Sheriff's Association and the Alcohol Tobacco Control have also committed their personnel and assets to search and rescue efforts. And the Fire Marshal's Office is also working with 2 volunteer boat search and rescue organizations as well as state partners, including the National Guard and Wildlife and Fisheries. And Wildlife and Fisheries currently has 169 agents with trucks and boats prepared, staged, and ready for movement. I have an update for you on the number of linemen in the state prepared to respond to power outages. We now have 10,000 linemen staged in the state of Louisiana, and that number will get up to 20,000 very quickly with out-of-state linemen who've already been contracted. They will be called in as necessary and when necessary. Tomorrow, state offices will be closed in the same 38 parishes that we mentioned yesterday. And we've also made the additional determination that on Monday, all state offices will be closed across the state of Louisiana. Gave you a break. I didn't want to have to read through 38 parishes. As of 6 a.m. today, shelters began to open across the state of Louisiana. We have just a few dozen people in state shelters at the time. Right now, any individual looking for shelter in a parish that is called for an evacuation, look first to the shelters in your parish. So contact your Office of Emergency Preparedness. And you can also text LA Shelter to 898-211, or you can just dial 211 to get shelter information. If you need to find out how to contact your parish Office of Emergency Preparedness, you can get that information under contacts at getagameplan.org. You can also get that information by going through the 211 system, as I just mentioned. So you can text LA Shelter to 898-211 or call 211. If you can stay with friends or family outside of your area, if you're evacuating, that's wonderful. You need to have conversations about that process and any COVID-related concerns ahead of time. I would urge people that if you're evacuating, perhaps from coastal Louisiana, don't have as your destination, if at all possible, a location in the Baton Rouge or Lafayette areas. The storm intensity, the amount of rain that we expect to get, the wind, as I mentioned earlier, is just too strong in these areas, so please evacuate further west, further north than the Lafayette, Baton Rouge area, if at all possible. When you evacuate with essential items you're going to need if you're away from home for an extended period of time, including food, water, PPE, medicine, your pets. If you have questions about what you need to do to prepare to evacuate, to include any oxygen needs that you might have because of a health issue, you can call 211. I don't have all the COVID numbers for you today because it's a Saturday. We don't typically report them. What I can say is currently we have 2,450 individuals hospitalized across the state of Louisiana with COVID-19. And I'm very thankful that that's a drop. That's a drop of about 20% in the last 10 days. And that's very helpful going into this hurricane, especially since we know that the evacuation of our hospitals is not an option. But that still puts us in a very precarious position because that 2,450.
Oh yeah. Oh. Yeah, I'm gonna stay for
It is the 16th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina. I'm also aware that it's very painful to think about another powerful storm like Hurricane Ida making landfall on that anniversary.
Yeah, I'll be showing that.
But every storm is different. They all bring their own challenges. But I also want you to know that we're not the same state that we were 16 years ago. We have a hurricane risk reduction system in place because of the generosity of the people of the United States of America that we didn't have before. And outside of that hurricane risk reduction system, we also have tremendous investments in protection across South Louisiana with levees and gates and pumps. And having said all that, this system is going to be tested. There's no doubt. The people of Louisiana are going to be tested. But we are resilient and tough people. And we're going to get through this. The state, the local government, our federal partners, we're all doing everything that we can to prepare for and be positioned to quickly respond to the needs of the people of Louisiana with respect to Hurricane Ida. But
yeah, if you have questions about your area, go to the National Weather Service
as well. And really, you have the window is closing quickly because you have until about
we already showed your area
dark tonight to really get it done. Again, the weather's going to degrade very quickly tomorrow. And by 7 p.m. tomorrow night, the northern half of Hurricane Ida should be over land. Please monitor the weather. Pay close attention to local authorities. Heed their guidance. Be safety-minded. Many people are going to lose electricity. That electricity can be out for a long time. And yeah, the absence of air conditioning can just make you uncomfortable. But if you get out there and you work too hard, you can end up, and you don't have an opportunity to cool off, you can end up with heat exhaustion. If you operate a generator in a way that's not safe, you can die from carbon monoxide poisoning. If you try to operate machinery like a like a chainsaw, for example, to clean up, and you're not accustomed to that, if you get up on a roof and you fall, all of these things, I'm saying these things because this is what's happened in the past, where the loss of life has resulted more from post-storm activities than from the storm themselves. So let's prepare, let's pray, let's be safe, and let's help one another. So please check on your elderly neighbors. Call your elderly relatives. If you've got special needs individuals who live around you, make sure you take a little time and check on them as well. So with that, I'll take questions. I'll say we intend to do a press conference again tomorrow at about 2 o'clock. We'll let you know if that changes. So we'll take some questions now, and you can feel free to address your questions to me or to any of these individuals who are here. Anything? Okay. Well, we will be back at 2 o'clock tomorrow. Unless something changes, we'll certainly let you know. I don't need to drink this water, I don't think. But thank you all very much for continuing to cover this, and the work that the media will do over the next however many days will be incredibly important to keep people informed and to keep them safe.
So, how is everybody doing today? I'll say hi to each and every one of you guys. Just say hi in the chat. Hey Stellar, hey Jay, hey Heather, hey Crook, hey Crispy, hey Keith. Thank you, Keith, for the weather spotter. So I'm gonna be honest with you. I got about nothing out of that governors. I don't know about you guys, but I think I don't think I'm ever gonna watch those things. It's just it's stuff you and I could talk about, and then it's just like some of it's nonsense, and he just continues to talk about it, and it's like, come on, like, we know it's gonna be bad. We know it's gonna be worse than most tropical cyclones in the past. I do want to say that currently, today, at I think noon, 16 years ago, Katrina was a Cat 5. Okay? I'm not comparing this to any other storm, because there is no storm the exact same as this storm. You cannot compare weather events. You cannot compare damage. You cannot compare the categories. You cannot. Crispy, I believe that as well. I believe it is on that northern. So let's go look at. So there's the cone. National Hurricane Center puts out a cone, and the solid is a potential track area for the 1 to 3 days, and then you got the cone of uncertainty. That's that 4 and 5 days with the dots. But it has been on the eastern side of this cone since it was on the other side of Cuba, and Cuba kind of, if you notice, it kind of made it wobble a little bit, and that's normal. It's normal when a tropical um, wave of some sort, tropical cyclone of some sort, goes over land, it makes it wobble. It's like, hey. But if you've seen the satellite and the radar in Cuba, like some of you guys, I don't know if you guys looked at the radar, but Cuba has its own radar, and there was a distinct eye going over Cuba, eye wall, right? And there was intense convection, intense going over Cuba. Like, you don't, personally, myself, I have never ever seen something going over a tropical cyclone, a hurricane, anything going over land and producing convection that you would see over water, but it was over land. It was massive. It was insane. I might be able to. It was just. It was just crazy. So the thoughts on the track shifting east, I have more. It is more likely to be on the eastern end of the cone. I've been saying that all along. I've been saying it when it was down south of Cuba and it was supposed to, quote unquote, supposed to hit the Yucatan Peninsula. Why didn't it hit the Yucatan Peninsula? Because it went on the northeast side of um, that wave. So the wave was it was quite large. Tropical cyclone waves are usually quite large. And it was that the track is either on the southern edge, but most of the time on tropical cyclones that I have seen, most of the time, if it's tilted, it's always gonna go north. And there wasn't much tilt in this wave. So it went most of it came to the north and it went over Cuba, like 250 miles off of what the cone said Yucatan Peninsula was. It was going to go over Yucatan Peninsula. Cuba wasn't even really in the cone. So it went farther north. And I see, yes, it's going in the northwest direction, but I see that hurricane, the eye wall and the hurricane force winds is staying on that northeastern side of this cone. So if we look at the forecast track line, you see the black line. It's gonna stay on that right side of that line, 100%, or I'm gonna say 90%. It's gonna stay on that because that's what it's history. That's history of what is occurring. New Orleans is gonna likely get hammered. The levee system, the new levee system that they spent billions of dollars on, I-10. I was talking to somebody that lives close to I-10 today, and he showed me some pictures. And am I saying that's gonna fail or that's gonna get washed out? No, I'm saying that some of the levee systems that they made are gonna it's gonna strain the levee systems, and it's I would say it's I don't know. Okay, another thing we're gonna talk about, and why I think that it's gonna strain the levees. Okay, peak surge. Morgan City to the mouth of Mississippi. 10 to 15 feet. Okay, and if we look at the Weather Prediction Center, put out the highest risk. Like, you cannot go any higher than this risk. This is high risk for flash flooding. Going over that 10 to 15 feet surge. Okay? So you add 15 to 20, possibly more inches, localized more inches, to that 10 to 15 feet storm surge. It's going to be it's going to be early in the morning, so it's going to be past high tide. But you add a couple feet over the 10 to 15 feet of storm surge, that's everything's going to be flooded. Everything. There's going to be standing water for a couple days in places like on the coast, Morgan City. You got you got New Orleans. You got places like that. You got into the bay, the boot of um, or the into the area of where it goes inland, and there's a bay. That's all going to be flooded. Everything's going to be flooded. I do have the friend I have that lives down in he lives down kind of in that bay area. I have what's her name from yesterday? Angie. I have Angie that lives kind of on that Mississippi Florida line, so kind of in that same area of my other friend. We have a storm spotter that actually is from North Dakota that traveled down there. Storm spotter, storm chaser. We have Mark. He's down there. Of course, he's down there. He's a hurricane specialist. I wonder if he was ever in part of the National Hurricane Center. But we have him and there's many people down there that do I think they should be down there. In some areas, it's not a smart idea. That's going to put a strain on the National Guard. It's going to put a strain on the emergency first responders. It's, I think, I don't talk much about the Weather Channel, but I heard that some of the Weather Channel people are actually going further inland because would you think about the smart thing to do? So common sense thing to do is what they want is you to stay far away from, like, you can stay, but don't stay close to the coast, okay? Because that's when the first responders and the National Guard and military have to get in, and they're going to get strained. That's not what they want. Kind of like what's going on in the world, right? The hospitals and stuff. They don't want that to happen. So that's this kind of what's going on with southeastern Louisiana. Is they don't want to use those sources. If they have to use those sources, they will, but they don't want to use them. And you kind of get that gift from the governor. You kind of get like he's saying that yeah, there's going to be National Guard members, there's going to be people out there, but kind of we don't want to use them. They're there if we need them, but we don't want to use them. That's why they're saying, hey, evacuate, don't stay. Right now, I'm going to tell you right now, if you're watching this from a car, or you know somebody that's in their car leaving, that's on I-10 or somewhere on, that is 100% perfect. Because you still got a long ways. But after that 3, 4, 5 o'clock range, if you haven't packed up and left, you just need to hunker down. So if you're in traffic, and if you can look on your GPS or you know somebody that's in traffic, um, get try to find back roads. That's I know a lot of people are trying to find back roads. If possible, go north Louisiana. If you know anybody, go north Louisiana or western Louisiana, anywhere from you're gonna feel tropical storm force winds, but anywhere from Lake Charles all the way up to Shreveport. That's if you want to go further west, that is perfectly fine. But as you can see, the rainfall totals um, west of I don't know Lafayette is not. I would say probably Pecan Island, all the way up to Alexandria, all the way up to Shreveport, kind of in that central part of the state. Stay on that western part, um, unless you want to go into Texas. But stay away from the Gulf. The Gulf, if you're like Lake Charles, Sabina, Pass, like stay away from that area. So go further in if you have to go to Alexandria or Shreveport, or even go over to. I wouldn't go as close as Baymont, Texas, because that's still kind of close to the Gulf, but keep going further. Texas loves visitors. Not gonna lie, Texas does loves visitors. So they're pretty welcoming over there. Maybe take a week, 3 to 5 days, go over to like Dallas or Houston. Um, if you want to take a big ride, go to San Antonio. But Houston, Dallas, Austin, that's like 100% good suggestion. But if you don't want to leave Louisiana, you can stay on that west coast, and you're gonna still feel tropical storm force winds in those areas. But hurricane force winds are gonna be staying on the sustained hurricane force winds. Sustained hurricane force winds. So you may get gusts. Say I know Jay's been asking, Alexandria. You may get gusts 60, 70, 80 miles per hour, but sustained winds of hurricane force winds in Alexandria is very unlikely. That's mainly going to stay in this between Lafayette and New Orleans and even further east. And once it comes ashore, here's hurricane wind speeds. The probability, right? You don't even have 100% probability here. You have the probability of hurricane force winds is doesn't go far in, well, miles wise it goes far, but you got that 5 to 10% chance. Um, so it's there, but you have a better chance of seeing um, tropical storm force winds in in your area in Alexandria, and you've all the way up into Arkansas and Texas. You pretty good chance you're gonna feel this. This is a large storm, very large storm. Another interesting fact: this storm and the storm that's in the Pacific is gonna make landfall the same day. So it's another interesting fact. So as you see, greater than 9 feet above ground. Yeah, that's what I just said. East Pacific, like in the Pacific. Um, as you can see, most of this is greater than 9 feet. So I'm gonna get many pictures from friends. Uh, I think they're starting to do. They're gonna start doing updates every hour. I think, but I have to go do something real quick. So we're gonna keep this on satellite. I gotta go do something real quick. Okay. And I will be right back. Like, give me like less than 10 minutes. Okay, so I'm back for a little bit longer. Yeah, there's uh, not much to report on. Like we can look at forecast models. I do want to make everyone aware, um, because I did see some people look at different models. Um, Even on social media, somebody sent me a message saying this person's looking at this model. Is this true? And I said no. But these are what you look at: the H warp, usually the GFS on steroids. Um, but mesoscale, anything on this line, the NAM, the H triple R, you don't use that. The algorithm for that doesn't look at tropical cyclones. It just doesn't. And I'm not even going to look at it it's um because it's irrelevant. It's not no, it's not not what you. That algorithm is for mainly severe weather, sometimes even not even winter storms, but a lot of land interaction. This is coming off water. It doesn't have the algorithm of the water. That's why if you go to here, that's why if you go here, you don't see NAM on here. You don't see the HRRR. See the H wharf. You see the icon. So if anybody's ever shown you that, they don't really know. I don't know what to tell you. They don't know. That's they want to just get you hyped up. Somebody sent me a Discord message saying some live streamer on YouTube said that it was gonna get 200 um 200 miles per hour and um because that's what the NAM was showing, and I'm like that he didn't tell me who it was, but supposedly the person will it move any more east? I think it will, but the GFS has it kind of in the same. Yeah, it's just shifted just a little bit more east. Look at it shifted not much, but it has shifted more east. And Crispy is right. Nora is um, Nora. Nora's got all this moisture. Yeah, that's what I was explaining to Crispy. That's what I was explaining to my friend. The Gulf Stream. Gulf Stream goes basically from, I would say, it goes up through here and goes into the Atlantic. And that's what makes the Gulf so warm. It's exactly what makes the Gulf so warm. Is that stream. That goes over land and it cools off. We can I think you can't rule out anything. See, this is what I'm saying. Prepare for the worst, hope for the best. Wherever it is, it is. Um, can't do much about it. But you notice I didn't put any of the categories in in my title because that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's the high category or if it's the low category. This storm is going to be a massive storm, and it doesn't matter. So whatever people say, they want it. They can say whatever they want. Oh, it's going to be a cat. Doesn't matter. The storm's going to be big. I don't care if it's a cat 1. I don't care if it's a cat 5. Okay? It's going to be big. Then I have a lot of storm surge, a lot of rain, um, little shear. Shear. If there was more shear, it help the. But even if when it's pulling, it's crazy when you look at the water vapor on it. There's been a few spots that it tried to pull in dry air, but it doesn't care. It does not care one bit. There's no shear. Oh. Next updates should be soon. Probably in 30 minutes or something. What is the current? Oh yeah, we got New Orleans National Weather Service is gonna do another update. Yeah, I'd say maybe a little bit earlier, noon. Um, but currently the coast is dealing with. Um, but I'd say noon is a good when it's get really nasty. But you have this tropical rain that's ongoing. That's normal for the Gulf Coast. I couldn't tell you if power goes out. Jay, it seems like you want the worst. It just seems like it. Um, you think it will before land? Well, I was seeing a couple posts saying you want it to go more west. You know, I'd rather it take a deep turn and not even affect any land. Crispy, do you think the eye will collapse before land? Oh, it may. H Wharf's like GFS on steroids. Yeah, I would 100% agree. 100%. I found a video earlier this year talking about why the Gulf is getting so warm due to the Gulf Stream and why it intensifies over um, every year. And I'm glad this year they're not naming nonsense storms, though. So I think it's gonna see how it's kind of on that northeast side. Hey, Angie. I think it's gonna be on this side. This side will get tropical storm force winds. Same with all the way over here. But I think Morgan City, New Orleans, St. Charles. Oh, that's St. Charles Parish. Yeah, I think it's gonna stay on this eastern, the hurricane force winds, and I think the eye will probably come ashore right around here. But you know, yeah, even so, I would say somewhere in this area. Between Yuma and Morgan City. But we're gonna get coverage from several people. Angie and Crispy. You think it's gonna go that far? You might be right. You know, I think anywhere from really Morgan City, the cone goes farther over, but I think anywhere from Morgan City over is where the eye is gonna be. Um, but you can already see. So Saturday at 2 p.m., they kind of already got that tropical storm force winds is already approaching this area, and this is as of 1 p.m. So it's kind of um, Angie. I know that's over you and my friend. Realized my friend lived over here as well. Make sure if you have battery packs or something, make sure you have those up. If you haven't left now, be at your place by tonight where you wanna hold the storm out. Yeah, Angie, a lot of people can't leave. Not saying in your predicament, but um, I seen that there was people on Twitter saying that they couldn't leave because um, many issues. They couldn't leave because they couldn't afford it, um, and it's unfortunate. Like you know, they may be able to get you out. See, that's what they really don't tell you this. Okay, mandatory evacuations. They bust you out of there, right? But they bust you out of there to a location if it's a shelter and you have animals or something, and that shelter doesn't take animals. What are you gonna do? So it's kind of like you gotta have money if you're gonna be out of there. And even in mandatory evacuations, there's people that don't leave. And that's basically your right. You don't have to leave. Just know you could put a strain on the National Guard and the first responders. And like you said, yes, or whoever said yesterday, um, you if you live in this area, you're first responder to your neighbors. Angie, I think I'm gonna get you. Are you on a computer or a phone? I think I'm gonna try to get you on Discord if you're up to it. If you guys just tuned in, make sure you hit that like button. It really means a lot to me. Surprisingly, this morning I slept in pretty late, surprisingly. You know what woke me up? Usually my dog wakes me up in the morning. She did this morning. She was eating breakfast, and I could hear her eating the dog food, and I'm like, wait, what's going on? Look at the time; it's like 10:30. It's like, well, I got up and took her outside, and I'm like, jeez. Then I was checking satellite while I was taking her outside. So if you ever want to check satellite, I suggest Tropical Tidbits. And I don't know if I want to go to bed early tonight and wake up early tomorrow, or if, you know, the question is the real question is, right? Is I could keep this stream going, um, but I don't know. Angie, are you on a computer? So I could keep the stream going, um, but I would probably, Crook, I might mod you because you're usually up late. I'm sure both you and Angie will be up pretty late. I just don't like leaving my stream without me talking. You know what I mean? Because basically, you could just go look at what I'm looking at. You guys know what I mean? I do want to get new mods. I'm getting new mods on Discord, and I'd like to adjust some of the mods on Tropical Tidbits reporting that they're getting bogged down due to traffic. Tropical Tidbits? I think you mistyped. Or should I just stay up all night? I think I'll make that decision at probably 7 or 8. Because I very well could just stay up all night. Go to the gas station and get a, I don't know, what kind of energy drink should I get? You don't even think tropical storm winds? Because they say tropical storm winds at 2 a.m. I don't know. I guess it's whatever. Well, GFS is showing about 7 a.m. That's the eye, basically. Currently, it's a little bit ahead of. It's showing about 1 p.m. Positive thing at the bottom of the screen, you can see scrolling text of. I don't have, unfortunately, I have the hurricane stuff loaded into that coding, but should I just go to bed now and just wake up later? Because I could end stream, right? After the next update. And then I could go back live. It's 10 a.m. So it'll be 1 a.m. Likely be seeing some high end tropical storm winds to man 105 dead center right here. 150. The sounding shows 150 miles per hour. But when we get closer to land, in that northeast part, About 115. Mobile. Like Mississippi? Oh, yeah. Wait, do you live close to me? Oh. Uh, Crispy, you live close to me? Imagine Crispy, Critters, and James the Weatherman meet up. There's a girl that lives in Fargo that watches me. Yeah, if you're going to Iowa or southern Minnesota, yeah. I have some friends that live in Chicago, close to Chicago. I have a friend, um, in my phone, I have him as Jake from State Farm. He lives south of Chicago. I have some viewers that live in central Illinois. You guys have had crazy weather this year. Multiple tornadoes west of Chicago. No. Um, Somebody else. There's a couple people that are in here that are in the direct path of hurricane force winds. Now we got tropical storm force winds. Jay is in that section. And I'm sure a couple other people are. But Angie, you and my other friend are the only people that are in that to be affected by hurricane force winds. It's pretty likely that you were. I don't think anything farther away from Lafayette and will get much hurricane force winds. It's all going to be on that eastern side. And if the landfall is east of New Orleans, the eye, western part of Louisiana ain't. They may get 20, 30 mile per hour winds. Why am I still on the storm prediction center? Talking about hurricanes. Just got a flash from NES Chicago that they're expecting heavy to severe thunderstorms tonight. Well, be careful, man. Anywhere in Louisiana, Um, Anywhere in Louisiana, anywhere in Mississippi, you know, you're gonna be central southern Mississippi. You're gonna be in likely flooding. If it does make landfall as a Cat 4, uh, it's going to be the strongest storm to make landfall in this part of Louisiana in a long time. A long time. Do you remember how old I was during Katrina? I remember it, or I don't like. I remember it kind of. Let's see, it was in 2005, so I would have been like 13. Heather, you covered it like on YouTube or something? There was so many hurricanes that were beyond Hurricane Michael. Man, a couple years ago, that was a bad deal. My cousin Leah um, destroyed her house, like completely destroyed. Like it was nothing. Like it was flat. Michael destroyed. Another one was Hurricane Harvey. That one, the wind wasn't so bad, but it just sat over it, sat over Houston, sat over the areas that it just flooded. Hello, Alma. No, I don't know. I don't think you did. I don't know. You can. You sent me a lot of things. But yeah, my cousin Leah, she, Laura was a beast to you because it affected you. But if you look at other storms, you got Michael, you got Harvey, you got Katrina, you got that one that hit Florida, southern Florida. Uh, any hurricane that is the highest category is just destructive. Michael made landfall. Michael was just Michael was a bad one. My last hurricane that was the worst. I think last year it was Which hurricane was last year? Loda? No. What was the storm last year that it may have been Laura. No. I have bad memory. Oh, oh dang. Marcos? Marcos Marco only reached Cat 1. It was Iota or Iota. Snowflake. We're right back. Okay, I gotta go back to. No, I'm here. We didn't have a cat. We didn't have a Cat 5 hurricane make landfall in the United States last year. The last Cat 5 to hit Michael was in 2018. So it wasn't 2 years ago. It was 3 years ago. The last Cat 5 hurricane to hit the United States was Hurricane Michael in 2018. So it's been 3 years. 3 years since a Cat 5 has hit the United States. And the last one was Michael. And Michael was bad. So Dorian, where'd Dorian? Dorian was a Cat 5. But did it make landfall at Cat 5? And there was 4 Cat 5s in 2005. But they didn't make landfall at Cat 5. I don't think any of them did. May have. Crispy, are you talking to me? Are you talking to me? Oh, the update's out. It's 105 miles per hour, 240 miles. And this is just the intermediate update. I think. Or is this the full update? No, this is the full update. If it's New Cone, it's to the west. Yeah, look at that. To the east. Western Louisiana is out of it. Is out of the cone. Why would you look at that? The forecasted track line is in the lower boot of Louisiana, and then it goes into Mississippi. The center, yeah, if the center goes outside the cone, it's going to be on the east side. Won't be on the west. Looks like they actually have took down hurricane warnings. Switched to tropical storm force warnings. So not even all the way to Texas anymore. Yeah, still be prepared, but like I've been saying all along, it's staying on that northeast side. So, New Orleans, but are you going to get tropical storm force winds? 100%. But this will probably change. No, this, let's see the satellite. Angie, unfortunately, I think I don't want to say it, but I think it's going to be closer to you. You just keep messaging me, okay? The weather towers go out, and keep messaging me. So, kind of an in-depth, right? Go, so here's that boot of Louisiana. Shreveport, Alexandria, Lake Charles, um, and then Mississippi, New Orleans, Lafayette. And it kind of rides that Mississippi. The H Wharf is on steroids always. This is probably going to be the most accurate. So let's look at this. Yes, Jay, you're gonna get rain. Let's look at this. Okay. Let me see if I can do something. Okay. So here we go. Hey Ashley, haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Um, so I'm gonna show you a little bit. Make sure you guys, if you guys are new, make sure you hit that like button. But I'm gonna show you a little bit on um, what I'm thinking. Yeah, here's the cone, right? Oops, I'm terrible at drawing. Okay, this is the cone. I'm thinking it's still gonna be on that eastern side, maybe a little bit further over. But then I think it's gonna come up like this, and it's gonna be pushed further into this cone. I miss you too, Ashley. Hope you're doing well. I can't take it back. Um, that's just the history of this. That's just the history of this storm, right? As you can see, tropical storm force winds are quite far from the center. So when it gets up here, yo, what's up, Seeds? Been a long time. Well, you guys all just talking. Is like, hey, I'm gonna go see James. See what he's doing. Um, so tropical storm force winds will probably reach out to probably all this area, right? Hurricane force winds is gonna be probably reaching out. That's probably the max. Um, and then it might shrink a little bit, and then it will go away when it's up here. That's my thought. Okay. Um, it could, it could, it could be further east, or it could surprise us all and go west. But to be honest, I think tomorrow, or later tonight when this new cone update, I think it's gonna be further to. I'm not. I don't. Ashley, I'm not gonna do projected. But National Hurricanes say Cat 4. But I don't want to project anything because That's just, I'm going to tell you that it's going to be a rough hurricane. And so I don't want any cats in the chat. This is kind of the same thing I do with tornadoes when I stream severe weather. When somebody posts, um, EF3 or EF4 or EF5 in the chat when the thing is occurring, it's not what. There's been many hurricanes, right, that make landfall that um, according to them make landfall at about a 4, and then a year later they say, oh, it was a 5. Same with tornadoes. A couple weeks go by after and that's why they say preliminary. No, Jay, if you go back a few minutes ago, you'll hear what I said. I said the cone is likely going to shift east. And it would not surprise me later tonight if some of this stuff maybe turns to I don't know. This turns to a tropical storm watch or a warning, and it shifts over a little bit further, hurricane warning. First, but you're right. It's like, I don't know why they just don't keep it to themselves until it's for sure like, hey, it was a cat, whatever, it was an EF, but they have to make the preliminary fact until and that's with hurricanes, that's with tropical storms, or not tropical tornadoes. It's just you can never tell, and all this is up in the air. They're getting this data from an aircraft that's flying above it. So over the years, technology is increased, but with a lot of things that's going on, not too many people know, but a lot of things have been cut, funded. So I'm sure if we got more funds, the National Hurricane and the Climate Prediction Center, the Weather Prediction Center, the National Weather Service, they got more funds, technology would be better. As you've seen a new recent update this year for severe weather, Jackson, Mississippi. Jackson, Mississippi. The storm surge warning has been extended. But what was I saying? What was I saying? Um, oh, this year they did a few updates to National Weather Service did a few updates, and I'm sure some of you guys have seen the updates, even though I haven't streamed. They updated the warnings system, where they update severe wind if it's the lower Yeah. If it's a lower rank, they'll say. Then if it goes to a higher, it goes catastrophic. They do that on every severe thunderstorm warning, and that's new this year. I think as of August 1st or August 3rd or something, somewhere, sometime in August. That's when that started. Yeah, and Crispy, every big wind event, you see bow echoes all over social media. Oh, there's this derecho that's occurring because that word is brought up so many times. It's crazy how people are like, yeah, it's this, but maybe we will have. I know we're supposed to have an update from the National Weather Service. I don't know. No, I'm glad they're not um, naming every storm like they did last year. They're naming. They're doing better at this tropical depression nines, and they're not naming. They're not naming stupid storms like they did last year. Should have never got to where it was last year. Okay, let's go look at the satellite. So it's kind of pushing in this direction. So yeah, so some, and they really have started doing the special weather statements more this year than they have in recent years. I don't know why, but I do know in the past years they would issue severe thunderstorm warnings or tornado warnings for little things. And I don't know if it's this year, if it's, I don't know. I don't know. To be honest, I don't know. So, any questions from anybody? If anybody's got so what is this? Um, Probably not. I don't know. I don't know. Is there a need of me to stream tomorrow? Tomorrow night? Even said Ida has moved a little to the right of the previous track. The track guidance has nudged slightly eastward during the first 12 to 24 hours from Illinois due to more northeastward the initial position, and this has required a slight rightward adjustment in the new official forecast at those times. users again. Tomorrow night, everybody's gonna. uh, 75% of the people that are gonna be on the coast, if there's anybody on the coast, won't have power tomorrow night. Once hurricane force winds start coming through, they're gonna lose power. I don't know, just stay tuned. I can't tell you the future. Maybe if I get 50 likes, I'll stream tomorrow. Let's let's take a look at Google Maps. Twenty three. No, it's 23 likes. Yeah, 25 more likes. It's all slow traffic. Road closed. These roads are likely closed because they're having opposite traffic. So it's turning to all this traffic. Alexandria. Traffic is good. It's perfect. Green is perfect. Yeah. So basically, I'd say basically was this I-10? Basically, all I-10 is on slow traffic all the way about Baymont. Yeah, if you are out here, looks like they already shut off or closed the roads. Oh, I'm sure they're already shut down now. What's this? Seafood. Looks like there's probably a few houses here. That's all probably closed. If people are in this area, they're anything in this area should be you should be out of there. You should be out of there. Now you got to remember. So here's the Mississippi. So the mouth of Mississippi flows south, right? It's to be pushed all water. And here's New Orleans. It goes right through New Orleans. Pushing water plus storm surge plus the 15 to 20 inches of rain. So there's gonna be um, Be some major flooding in New Orleans. Is this part of New Orleans too? Yeah, that was canceled yesterday. The governor canceled it. Guessing all this is no, that's Baton Rouge. How far does New Orleans go? I thought New Orleans was like huge. It doesn't look really big on the map. Is New Orleans big because it like all the cities surrounding it? Let's go to Earth cams. And let's go to New Orleans. Bourbon Street. What, they have it shut off? Why is it not working? That's not live. Not live. Please tell me this isn't live. This can't be live. If this is live, um, please tell me this isn't live, you guys. That's probably live. Wasn't there a shooting at this corner not too long ago? Yeah, this is Bourbon Street. Yeah, I know this is live. Another camera. This is black. I don't care. I don't want to see that street. I'd rather see this street. This is where the Mardi Gras is. What street is Cats Meow on? Cats Meow is on Bourbon Street. I like how they're just like casually walking. I'm not gonna lie, I'm sure some of these guys they live on the street. Where's this at? Mississippi River, Vicksburg, Mississippi. You have to have papers. Wait, you called me? Huh. So like, wait, you want to be on stream? Oh, here.
Testing sound on YouTube. Please just drop a line in the comments saying, "Hey, we can't hear you" or anything, and we'll try and reschedule later. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into it with the latest update from the National Hurricane Center. Um, see what we got going here. Alrighty. See if we can go ahead and get started. All right. Thanks for joining. With the latest update from the National Hurricane Center. Um, see what we got going here. Alrighty. See if we can go ahead and get started. All right. Thanks for joining me once again. My name is Kevin Gilmore with the National Weather Service New Orleans Baton Rouge office located in Slidell, Louisiana.
Uh, I don't know. I think they may need an upgrade on their system or something. I think they need to.
We're going to go ahead and talk with the latest on hurricane. Pausing here on Facebook. Yeah.
Well, rip.
Tell you what, since I'm seeing some of your all's comments and saying that the video's choppy, but you can hear me correctly. Correct? Is that right? If you can hear me, okay. If you can hear me clearly, but the video stopped, I'll see if I can just go through the sound, go through the slides, and that may be a little bit easier just to talk through. It's going in and out.
Probably
Anyway, if
using
you can hear me, we're going to reschedule this for another time. We'll fix these technical errors we're having. So just hang tight. We'll get you another update here in just one quick moment.
well. There you have it, folks. Best update. Best update. Oh. So what were we doing again? Wait, you know that guy? You know that guy? So I do want to take a quick thing because hurricane once hurricane makes landfall, right? Just pass all this. Once it makes landfall, we got something to worry about, and that's hurricane or tornadoes. We got other things we got to worry about. Oh, I was like, wait, we let's do. Let's just pass this all. Pass this. There you go. And it's gonna be so quick. This might even not matter. Might even not matter. Yeah, there could be a lot of tornadoes. Yeah, these are. I won't be able to show you soundings until we legit get closer to. Because this still has it. The NAM can't. The NAM doesn't have that algorithm. You know what I mean? It just doesn't have the algorithm. That like these tornadoes, they tornadoes from tropical weather, and I'm sure Crispy will agree with me. Um, they they happen quicker than like it. They're happening constantly, and then they end, and then they start again. It's not like a severe thunderstorm. Like there's gonna be so many tornado warnings because a hurricane is spinning, right? And the bands are spinning with the hurricane. So there's going to be constant hurricane or tornado warnings. And it doesn't mean there's tornadoes in them. It just means that it's showing rotation on radar. So it's just going to be constant. Wouldn't surprise me if tomorrow there's 100 tornado warnings. 100, 200, 300 tornado warnings. Doesn't mean there's tornadoes there. Yeah, and they're not like you're not gonna get a strong tornado. It's gonna be a quick spin up, and it's gonna be. There might be a few that are strong, but it's not gonna be long lasting. You're not gonna see one that goes farther than a couple miles. And that's just um, That's just a hurricane. So when it comes ashore, the Storm Prediction Center is going to issue a tornado watch. They'll probably be issuing two tornado watches, or they're going to issue a big one. Yeah, there's usually never. Yeah, because it's so quick. Um, they may issue tornado watch for a good chunk of southern Louisiana and into Mississippi. But yeah, they'll Fred. They issued a tornado watch for. This is going to be our first hurricane of 2021 to make landfall as a hurricane. I thought Henri was going to do it, but he didn't do it. Yeah, they'll just issue a general tornado watch. I bet she was scared. I would have been. I've chased a few tornadoes and um, never really. I've gotten close. You can see on my Instagram, I think I've posted one, but I've driven across a road that was taken out by a tornado. Um, that story would have been my stepdad and I were following a storm and tornado touchdown. Well, it really was. It wasn't a complete. There was just a vortex. It was basically a funnel that almost reached the ground, and it ripped the windshield wiper off, and that was a mess. My dad and I, we went up to St. Thomas, North Dakota, and we had a tree go through our window. I was down in Aberdeen, South Dakota. We were driving eastbound, and we knew a tornado was to the north, and we knew it passed, but we didn't know it took out the road. Because usually, tornadoes they'll put a couple some debris over roads, but usually they don't take out the road. And this one took out the road, and that was scary. It was probably one of the most scariest things I've. Uh, it was really scary. We were stuck in the mud and weather is getting crazier and crazier every year, and it's gonna continue to get crazy. winters are going to get crazy. The summers are going to get crazy. First time in 20 years, it hit 100 degrees here. So weather is really crazy. North Dakota is in a severe drought. We're getting rain now, but Canada just north of us, um, out of North America, they had I think it was actually the biggest fire in North America's history in Manitoba. You don't see them talking about that in the news. You know why you don't see them talking about that? Because this is what I think. Actually, no, I won't say anything. That's nope. I won't say none of my business. We have a fire in Minnesota. How did I handle the temps? I didn't go outside. That's no. This was in Crispy. This was in Canada. Was it confirmed? I don't know, but you know, I'll tell you guys over Discord. I don't want to talk about it over YouTube. That that's that's something not to talk about. There was a fire up recently in Lake Woods, Minnesota. Yeah, I don't know, man. Here, I'll type it in Discord. And this is just what I think, because it really wasn't talked about. So I just put it in the general Discord. Don't say it in here. That's none of If you want to see what I put, just join the Discord. But that's what I think. It wasn't talked about. It wasn't. They didn't even ask for help. They didn't. And you know what's really odd? I will say something. When Australia had those big fires, United States sent all the help. There was or not millions, probably thousands of firefighters that went over there. But you never heard. Crazy things. Crazy things. Right now? I know we're talking about hurricanes, but oh, they have a tornado warning now. Tornado watch out. No, we sent Americans over to Australia when they had those big fires. I think it was last year or the year before. That was heartbreaking. I don't know about you, but I love all kinds of animals. And when I seen koala bears and stuff were getting stuck, and Thomas, there's a chance for anything. That's why I say prepare for the worst and hope for the best. Do I think I'm not going to talk about much, but I don't. I don't think it's going to make it that far. I hope not, but we won't discuss much about that. Just be aware that um, just stay weather aware if you're down there. Thomas, are you down in Louisiana or Mississippi? I haven't seen your name before, so welcome. I'm James the Weatherman. And it was crazy about that thing that happened in Florida. Um, most countries sent first responders over to help do stuff in Florida, in Orlando or wherever that building. That was we still have hope. It's slimming up. Just saying. Stupid choices. It's all a matter of all of us. No, up in Arkansas, but oh nice. Welcome back. Make sure you guys all hit that like button. Why am I? I want to look at the satellite. It just amazes me. Any other questions? I don't like to talk political. I don't, we can go to Discord and talk all that stuff, but YouTube don't like that. What's up, Ashley? What's the question? Is it gonna affect Texas? Yeah, you'll get some rain and wind. That's weird. Um, where do squirrels go during hurricanes? Well, all animals have instincts during storms. That's any storm, tornado, fire, uh, any natural disasters. They can kind of sense it. So all animals kind of go into that self-protect. They go into selfish mode, basically, self-protection, self-protecting mode, and they yours was a joke. I don't really know about squirrels, but I do know that big animals, like cows and horses, when there's tornadoes or even fires, flooding, they when you see them running the opposite way, you know there's something that they can just have that sense. Animals are, but and then what did I eat today? I had a burger and French fries. Jay, we already explained. We already talked. I will read the discussion right now. Jay, I didn't want to read it, but I'll read it. IDA satellite presentation has continued to improve this afternoon, with the eye becoming more apparent in both infrared and visible satellites. In the eye is surrounded by symmetric ring of cold cloud tops and new convection. Well, let's just skip because I don't want to read all this. Okay, here. Ida has moved. Ida has moved a little to the right of the previous track. The long-term motion Long-term motion is still northwestward or 320 degrees at 14 knots. The track forecast philosophy remains unchanged. Ida is expected to continue on northwestward heading through late Sunday as it steered around the southwestern portion of the Deep Layer Ridge near the southeastern United States coast. The track guidance has nudged slightly eastward during the first 12 to 24 hours. Primarily, oh my goodness. Due to more northeastward initial position, and this has required a slight rightward adjustment in the new official forecast at those times. The remainder of the National Hurricane Forecast is largely unchanged from before and lies near various consensus models and the GFS ensemble mean. So, it's on the right side, the eastern side. If you looked at the cone, we've already explained this. It's going to be on that eastern side. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. Possible that it just dies out. But it's not going to happen. And it's possible that pigs fly. So, I've seen another question. I was hoping all the major hurricanes this year would just stay out and sea. To be honest, that's what I was hoping. But actually, I haven't eaten dinner. I don't even know when or if I'm gonna eat dinner. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Be right back. I gotta take my dog outside. Yeah, all Crispy's right. Everything right now that we've been talking about is speculation. I grabbed some fruit. Should I have fruit for dinner? Angie, you wanna talk on stream? You wanna accidentally call me again and I accidentally pick it up? Oh, are they?
Easy. Very important to know where you PM update from the National Hurricane go through. As always, if there's any issues, please just let us know in the comments and we will try and get that fixed right away. So let's go ahead and get started. Thanks for joining. My name is Kevin Gilmore with the National Weather Service New Orleans Baton Rouge office located in Slidell, Louisiana. We're going to go ahead and start with the 4 p.m. update from the National Hurricane Center. We do have some changes to discuss as we have this significant impact of this significant storm on the way towards portions of southeast Louisiana. Just a few changes again in the track and intensity. Just some minor adjustments in the track that people need to be aware of. Even some changes in the storm surge inundation potential for a few areas as well. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into it now and show you what we got here. Going to the latest satellite imagery of Ida. This is the storm of watching right here. This is Hurricane Ida, which is looking relatively impressive, especially right now. This is a pretty impressive system now in the central Gulf of Mexico, and it's continuing up towards the northwest. The storm will continue to strengthen. That is still forecast, and that has not changed at all. The storm will continue off into the northwest. We may see some brightening and kind of some tightening up of the circulation, some cooler cloud tops as well as the storm also continues off and strengthens. So again, this is the storm we are concerned about, very much right in the middle of your screen. If I kind of show you exactly what areas look like, this is the coast of Texas. Here we got Louisiana, Mississippi, there's Alabama, and then Florida. If you can't really see it with my very crude drawing of southeast United States, this is where we're at about in proximity to Hurricane Ida. Still, as we saw the storm before, came across near Jamaica just a few days ago, came across the Isle of Youth, crossing the western tip of Cuba, and then going into the northwestern Gulf of Mexico. So there is no change in this direction at all. It is still forecast to progress off towards the northwest. There's no deviation expected, no crazy turns or no any surprises in this track. All model guidance is very consistent with this storm to continue off towards the northwest and impacting portions of southern and southeastern Louisiana and southern Mississippi. So this still remains a significant risk and a life-threatening risk for weather conditions across the area starting tomorrow. So we're going to get more into that here in just one quick moment. Let's go ahead and jump back over to the image slideshow that I got ready for you here to show you what we got with the latest slides. So as you saw the briefing that we did earlier earlier this afternoon around 2 o'clock, we did talk a lot about where you can find yourself on a map. And I went into a large talk about that, about the importance of knowing that. I'm not going to get as much details for this one, but just quick and easy. Very important to know where you are on a map, where you live on a map. For example, if you live in Covington, you need to be aware you live in St. Tammany Parish, and the parishes around you is Tangipahoa, Washington, and then you got Pearl River and Hancock counties to your east. Just be aware of your surroundings, because if we're ever talking about a hazard in these counties, it could impact your area. And also the fact that I'm going to be showing you a lot of graphics here coming up in just a quick moment. And I can't go around and single out individual city names. If you want to know the forecast in Woodville up in Wilkinson County, well, I can't give you the entire forecast, the winds, the rain, the temperatures, anything you're interested in. That's going to be your job, is to depict your threat from the maps that I'm about to show you here. So be aware of your area. Let's go into the next slide here. Also, I was talking about that when I showed you that map, that was the area that we cover here in southeast Louisiana and southern Mississippi. This is known as our area of coverage for the National Weather Service New Orleans Baton Rouge office. We cover this area, but we're a collection of 122 offices across the United States. If you have family and friends, or you're watching from National Weather Service Lake Charles, that's southwestern Louisiana or far southeastern Texas. We got people also to our north. We got another office at Jackson, Mississippi, central Mississippi as well. That's the National Weather Service Jackson office. And then we have National Weather Service Mobile to our east, which covers cities like, of course, Mobile, Evergreen, Pensacola, Fort Walton. That's going to be for our friends to the east. So if you happen to be watching us from any of these neighboring offices and want information pertaining to your local area, keep a close eye and watch this area here. Watch your office and be sure that you know what information is coming from which office nearby. So as we go through again, talking about, here's the latest from the National Hurricane Center. This is the 4 o'clock advisory. So this is the latest from the National Hurricane Center. Now we have maximum sustained winds of 105 miles per hour. That's up 5 miles per hour from the 1 o'clock advisory. So that's the strengthening that we're expecting to see as the storm continues off to the northwest. So we're going to see the storm likely become a major hurricane later tonight, if not early tomorrow, and continue off to the northwest, impacting southeastern Louisiana. This will be a significant and serious situation. We're talking about all modes of significant impacts will be likely, including damaging wind damage. We're talking about widespread power outages, flooding rain, surge, and isolated tornadoes, all going to be an extreme risk that we're going to have to watch for as this hurricane continues. So this is not a possibility. This is what we're calling will happen. And that's why we want you to take this extremely seriously. Hurricane and tropical storm warnings in effect. Nothing has changed from the 1 o'clock to the 4 o'clock. We still have hurricane warnings in effect for all of southeastern Louisiana. Tropical storm warnings surround the area up towards our southwestern Mississippi counties and coastal Mississippi counties. That's a tropical storm warning for potential for sustained winds of 39 to 74 miles per hour, above 74 miles per hour potential for the hurricane warning areas. So you remember what we were talking about with the high wind potential that we're going to be seeing. This is going to be a significant risk. So what we mean by that, here's the difference between hurricane watch and warning, just saying that now we have a hurricane warning in effect for sustained winds of 74 miles per hour or higher. So this is going to be something to really keep a close eye on. Here's what's changed a little bit with the forecast wind threat. Now we're talking about significant risk. It's been a little bit closed in more towards Baton Rouge. We see a little bit of a lowering risk. That's because confidence has now been increasing with this storm. So we're getting a better idea of the exact track and trajectory of where these highest winds are going to be. For Baton Rouge and Houma, and then in New Orleans, that's going to be the bullseye. That's the serious part of that we're worried about here. This is where we're expecting widespread power outages, tree damage, maybe even structural damage in this area. So if you live anywhere in the areas you see highlighted in purple or red, you should be taking the storm as serious as possible, because if you have had any evacuation orders, any mandatory evacuation orders, you should be long gone by now. If you have any voluntary orders, then you should be gone. You should be thinking about possibly wanting to go, and you should be considering the information that I'm showing you here about the potential if you need to leave or not. You need to seriously be considering this. This is not a storm to stick around in. Do not ride this storm out. Whatever you do not ride this one out. If you are anywhere in that purple and red area, this is a serious situation. And if you're under mandatory evacuations, get out. Do not mess with a storm of this intensity. Here's why we say that the preparation should be completed today. We're talking about areas, we're coming across southeast Louisiana. We're going to see conditions deteriorating through the day tomorrow. And then it's going to continue to get worse throughout the entire day. So keep that in the back of your mind. That's why you need to prepare today. Just want to double check and see if my stream has got going here. Yep. Looks like my stream is still going. All right, hopefully we're still going here. May have some intermediate interruptions. That's why we're going to make this one a little bit quicker. But conditions will deteriorate tomorrow, so be aware of that. The storm surge has changed. We want people to be aware that storm surge has changed. We're now talking Lake Pontchartrain 5 to 8 feet, 7 to 11 feet still for coastal portions of coastal Mississippi, 10 to 15 southeast Louisiana. So this is a serious situation. Life-threatening storm surge is a very serious risk. As we go to the forecast storm surge threat with Ida, we're still seeing, you see those purple areas, that's significant inundation issues. So be aware of that as well. Storm surge warning remains into effect. This is still, again, if you're anywhere that typically sees inundation from storm surge, from coastal flooding, this is going to be pretty bad for you. You need to get out of the area. And that's what this is also the next risk is flooding rain. This is still a significant risk for Baton Rouge to Covington to New Orleans and Homa. Be aware of that. This is, again, strongly consider protective actions, especially if you live in an area that typically gets flooded from this storm. Flash flood watch, of course, remains in effect. Also, this is the latest rainfall totals that we're seeing with the system. We're talking around even 15 to 20 inch potential now in this area. So this is going to be significant. What we're talking about is life-threatening flash flooding, and we're getting a little bit more of a bullseye, more of an idea of where these heavy rain bands will set up to the east of the center when it makes landfall. And it's looking like it's going to be right along the I-55 corridor, and that includes portions near New Orleans and Covington. But don't just look at that center bullseye. That's a large area of very high precipitation that could be impacting a large portion of southeast Louisiana and southern Mississippi. Be aware for our friends in Macomb, the rain totals have increased. That includes Pike and Walthall County. All across all four southwest counties of Mississippi, the rainfall totals have increased. So keep that in the back of your mind as well, that if you have evacuated a little bit further inland into southeast Louisiana, you could still see problems. You could still see flooding rain conditions. And those who are from southeast Louisiana, you know that too much rain in a short amount of time over the same location just leads to trouble. And especially when we're talking about very heavy rainfall, that's even more trouble. That's why we're trying to express that this is a very serious situation. Forecast tornado threat with Ida. We're still thinking the few tornadoes, isolated weak tornadoes possible in some of the heavier rain bands. Nothing's really changed there from any of the information that we were watching earlier. And then, of course, get a plan. Today's the day to do it. Do not hesitate. If you need to make plans, you need to do something, today's the day to do it. If you're thinking about doing it later today, do it later today. Don't do it tomorrow. It's going to be too late. Keep your disaster kit fresh, of course. This is something that if you happen to have kit from last year, please try and refresh these items. I know you're kind of running out of time, but either way, please take the storm extremely seriously. And of course, if you're planning to leave, please consider your pets. Not all shelters accept pets, so please think about that. That's something you need to think about. Do not leave your furry friends behind. Do not leave them behind if you're going to be evacuating. So we're going to take this right back here to the latest from Ida to show you again, if you're just joining, what we got with the latest track from Hurricane Ida. Please, again, this is a major, serious situation. Maximum sustained winds of 105 miles per hour. That is a Category 4 forecast to make landfall. Do not take this lightly. Hurricane warnings remain in effect. And pending we have any type of stream issues, I'm going to go back here and talk. You may see me kind of robotic like with the bad stream, but hopefully I'm going to get my message out because that's all that matters. Take this storm extremely seriously. This is a meteorologist I'm analyzing the storm as a meteorologist does. I know the structure. I know the forecast model guidance. We know what's going on. We have been communicating constantly with the experts at the National Hurricane Center. Take this one very seriously. That's why our job for the National Weather Service is protection of life and property. We're here for you. Okay, so take the storm extremely seriously, and hopefully you can hear me. I think my stream's a little bit scattered right now, but if you can hear this message, please take this seriously. We'll try and do more frequent Facebook Lives without any errors or interruptions with the stream, so plan on that too. Thank you for joining, and thank you for hanging on this entire time, and we'll be talking with you soon. Take care, and have a great rest of the day.
Okay. Okay, everyone. Crispy, are you still here? Um, sure, if you want. I'm thinking about, to be honest, thinking about ending the stream and then going to bed early tonight. And does anybody want to talk to or hear Angie? Or have questions for Angie? Lives in close to Covington. Oh yeah, yeah. I think I think tomorrow early morning. I think I'll go live. So make sure you guys are subscribed. You hit that bell notification. Yeah, you gotta hit that bell notification and click. When you hit it, put I think all. And then I will Angie, I'm gonna try to get you on Discord. Um I might even be live before 9. It, it might be really early. Okay, let's go. Let's go before. Um. Oh. Yeah. If I was you, I would probably go to bed early and wake up early because tomorrow's gonna be a long day and long day for everybody. So I'll wake up early. The question is the question is when I look at the radar, if it looks like things are deteriorating, you'll you'll probably be feeling it probably around dinner time. But yeah, like go into my Discord. Trust me, go into my Discord. Angie, I'm gonna try to get you set up on Discord. Um, everybody get into my Discord. That's where I'm gonna try getting my Discord more active and. Oh wait, Crispy, you have me in Discord, right? You're in Discord, right? it's 105 miles per hour. You're in my Discord, right? Uh, Angie. You should be able to download that on your phone. Well, get in the Discord. um, Jay, join the Discord. So I'm just gonna forewarn you guys, okay? There's gonna be people on social media, live streams, and all that fun stuff. Don't. If they show you the NAM model, don't message me. They show you the NAM model, know that that's not a tropical weather model. Okay? So, you don't have to message me being like, hey, is the NAM model a tropical storm model? Or, hey, this person's showing a tropical storm and it's going to be, or showing the NAM and it's going to be 200. You don't need to send me that. NAM is not, the algorithm for NAM is not for tropical weather. Okay? No, 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 no. No, Angie. Angie. It's free. What kind of phone do you have? Here, Angie. I'll just call you after stream, okay? Because I'm ending stream now. No, it's absolutely free. You shouldn't have to do any of that. I don't even have that stuff on there. Okay. So, hopefully there'll be a stream tomorrow. Go to my Discord. Discord link is in the description, I think. Yes, it's in the description. And it's been posted in the chat. So, join Discord. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Okie dokie. Hope everybody has a good day. Much love, you guys, and stay weather aware.